NFL Draft, the New York Giants select Abdul Carter.
Come on.
Defensive
That's
end,
what we
Penn
needed.
State. The New York Giants select Jackson Dart.
Wow.
Quarterback, Mississippi.
So the Giants made their picks yesterday for the first round on night one of the draft. Listen, the Giants did their part. They took Abdul Carter at 3. They took Jackson Dart. They traded up and got their quarterback of the future. And I'm seeing a lot of different things that's going around on social media right now from a lot of different people. You got talk media, top media personnel, you got content creators like ourselves, you got other people that are completely overthrown with the news that happened yesterday with taking Jackson Dart. I think we can all agree Abdul Carter was the pick to be made at 3, and we should be happy with that. But Jackson Dart, listen, this fan base has always been split at the quarterback position, dating all the way back to Eli Manning. I'm not surprised at a split here as well. But here's the biggest thing. I think people are so stuck on Shedeur Sanders, it's getting a little bit out of hand. It's getting a little bit ridiculous. Let's talk about Jackson Dart first, and stick around if you want to hear about Shedeur Sanders. Jackson Dart, what did he do last year at Ole Miss? Listen, he threw for over 4,000 passing yards, over 30 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. He was a quarterback that was one of the top quarterbacks in this class last year. He was putting up his stats. He was throwing the ball down the field. He beat some top competition. He also lost some games, some close games that you're gonna see some blunders on tape. Jackson Dart is a project quarterback. Let's look at what he did at Ole Miss. He also broke Eli Manning's career passing record, also holds the single season records for passing yards and total offense. He's the most winningest quarterback at Ole Miss. The guy broke records at Ole Miss. That connection, you have 2 Manning quarterbacks that were there, Archie Manning and Eli Manning. I'm not surprised he was the pick. You heard the smoke early in the morning of the draft that they wanted to trade up to go get Jackson Dart, and it held true. It was just a matter of when it was going to happen and what were they willing to give up. Listen, they gave up. People are talking about they lost the 34 overall pick. They slid up. So essentially that's the same pick. They slid up into the first round. They got their quarterback. So they lost a 3rd rounder, which was the comp pick in 99, and next year's 3rd round pick. When it comes to quarterbacks, the tax is always way higher. So I'm glad we didn't give up another 1st round pick. We didn't do anything like that when it came to trading up for Jackson Dart. Looking at him as a quarterback once again, he fits Brian Daboll's scheme. He does. He's a mobile quarterback. He throws the ball down the field. He likes to let it rip. That's what you need in Brian Daboll's offense. There's going to be some things that he has to grow out of, right? Reading through progressions, making the right decisions half the time. He was launching the ball downfield more than any quarterback last year, but in the NFL, you might see those come down as interceptions a lot more than he did. When you think about the competition he played, playing in the SEC, listen, he played against the top competition in all the sports in college football. So he played against competition. You saw him stand up and rise to some. You also saw him lose some games. So overall, he's not the perfect quarterback, but he's a quarterback that's going to be developed. Brian Daboll, you were the one that developed. Josh Allen, you did your part when it came to that. I need to see that same energy when it comes to Jackson Dart. And clearly, he picked his guy. Everyone wants to talk about Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen never got their chance when they had Daniel Jones. Listen, they have their opportunity. Jackson Dart most likely doesn't play more than 3 games this upcoming season because we do have Russell Wilson on, contract. But we'll see what happens. You never know. You might start losing 4 to 5 games, and next thing you know, you can see Jackson Dart potentially being called for to start. Hope we don't, but you know how this fan base is. Abdul Carter being the pick for the New York Giants was great as well. When you think about what the pass rush can be with KT, Dexter Lawrence, Brian Burns, and you add Abdul Carter, there's no excuses. We should be in after the quarterback. Just a reminder, Abdul Carter had 12.5 sacks in his first year at the edge rusher position. He got a lot of great speed. He sets up tackles for inside moves, outside moves, and he's only getting better as a pass rusher. Once again, first year at the position, he played off-ball linebacker for a portion. Abdul Carter's been everywhere, and he should be everywhere for the New York Giants. The other cool thing about Abdul is he got to be the best player that the Giants drafted out of Penn State, probably since, you guessed it, Theo Johnson. You got talented quarterbacks in your division, you got mobile quarterbacks in your division, you got to get after the quarterback. And the greatest thing is that they are all young. Abdul Carter, 21, KT, 24, 27 for Brian Burns, and 27 for Dexter Lawrence. We should have these guys at least for the next 2 years altogether, and I'm excited to see what this defense can be. Because as we know, we've had the names, and they've been here for a little while, but I feel like we just haven't seen the best potential of the team. Dexter Lawrence, best D tackle in the league. Brian Burns, KT, and Abdul Carter, that should be top 5 edge rush room out of the whole league. It's also a very lazy take to compare Jackson Dart to Daniel Jones. Like, we got to stop doing this, especially when it's a white quarterback that's being taken where he shouldn't be taken. Also, can we stop doing the comparisons to Daniel Jones? Like, Daniel Jones continues to be a topic, but calling Jackson Dart Daniel Jones, they're two very different quarterbacks. In my opinion, Jackson Dart potentially has a better arm, launches the ball down the field, and we know Daniel Jones wasn't doing that. So we need to stop with that narrative. We need to stop pushing that out there. I'll let you guys know right now, if I'm grading this draft so far, I'm giving it an A. Our number 3 pick is one of the best players in the draft. You trade up for Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart's your quarterback. Listen, I know a lot of Giants fans don't love him. Look around the league. A lot of known personnel, media personnel, is saying that Jackson Dart could be one of the best quarterbacks in this class, could be one of the best players in this class, and some people even think it's a steal. Shout out to Chase Daniel. Looking past Jackson Dart was taken, but Shedeur Sanders was on the board. That is one thing I did not count on. I did not count on Shedeur Sanders being available at the time when we took Jackson Dart. But let's look at the rest of the first round. There was a couple other teams that could have took him that didn't. The Browns are in need of a quarterback. They didn't take Shedeur Sanders. The Pittsburgh Steelers are in need of a quarterback. They didn't take Shedeur Sanders. You got Deion Sanders Jr. retweeting a tweet from LaShawn McCoy. This is crazy. No wonder the Giants don't win-ish. Because the Giants are the only team that definitely passed up on Shedeur Sanders, right? They're the only team. Pittsburgh Steelers are right now waiting on Aaron Rodgers. They've been waiting on him for months, and still said, I'm good. They don't even have a second round pick. They said, I'm good off of Shedeur. So let it be known, man. The media continues to pile on the New York Giants. That's nothing new. I would say if you're a Giants fan, man, if you were a fan of Shedeur Sanders, it is what it is. Your team did not want him. Your head coach did not want him. Your GM did not want him. Now, some people don't like Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll. It is what it is. But they didn't want the quarterback, and that's all that remains to be shown, man. They did all their homework. They did everything they could to figure out if Shedeur Sanders is the guy. And honestly, I feel like they did everything they could to rule him out. They try to make sure, is he worth that pick? They like Jackson Dart. Brian Daboll's known for putting quarterbacks through their extensive processes, trying to get them down to see if they're possibly a candidate to be taken. And Brian Daboll is excited about it. But I just want to remind Giants fans, man, hey, don't listen to what the mainstream media is saying. Don't stick on what everyone's saying about the Shedeur Sanders thing. Because we're talking about Shedeur Sanders more than Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart is the quarterback of the future. It is what it is. I'll continue to touch on this topic a bit, but pretty soon, listen, Jackson Dart's going to be the QB1. Went from Dimes to Dart. I'm assuming we're going to get a couple more nicknames that's going to come through. I'm happy that we got our quarterback, and I'm behind him, man. If he can develop into a top quarterback. I had a video 3 months ago that I just talked about Jackson Dart potentially being one of the best quarterbacks in this class. I saw it from months ago. People were telling me around that time, hey, start looking at Dart. You got the Ole Miss, you got the Joe Judge connection. You have a lot of different things and a lot of different ties. Let me throw this out there as well. The New York Giants are not racist. Yes, you heard me. They're not. The same team that went off and signed Russell Wilson and Jameis Winston is getting called racist. It's insane. It's insane. They were checking all their boxes, but they'll say whatever narrative it is to the reason why Shedeur Sanders is not a New York Giant. That's what they'll do. I want you guys to let me know how you're feeling down below about the New York Giants in this first round. Listen, if you ask me to give them a grade, I'm giving them an A. We got Abdul Carter with the number 3 pick. Like, Abdul Carter is a top talent in this league, and he's going to be. Best prospect in this draft, arguably, with Travis Hunter. I'm happy. I'm happy we got Abdul. I'm happy we got Jackson Dart. How can you not give them an A? I need you guys to let me know down below, man, what your thoughts are on this draft class.